When it comes to the viral sensation of Miss Shirley, is it fun or is it exploitation? Or is it a mixture of both, meeting in the middle and dancing all night? Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? I wanted to talk about Miss Shirley and the exploitation that we are seeing. That's what I am calling it. That is what I am naming it. That is what it is. And I want to talk about this because it is a part of what I know as a creator and someone who image is all online and has had to deal with being online and being perceived and being critiqued. So we have this viral sensation, Miss Shirley. That is the name that she is going by, who has been doing these line dances or trail rides and has been doing the boots on the ground. And she has been wearing cowgirl boots and wearing cowgirl get up and just dancing. Now, I want to say this because anytime we get into the conversation about children doing things like this, we start doing the same stuff with black girls. Like we over-sexualize them and make it seem as though they're doing something that is too grown for them, or it is something that a child should not be doing. And this is just a child that is enjoying themselves. This is a child that does not know, that is just having fun and dancing. And there's nothing wrong with a child dancing in the privacy of their home with their family and enjoying themselves. Like, these are kids. Like, a child shaking their butt is not something that is sexual. They're just dancing. They are not even aware what this is, so they can't be doing it. So we have to stop doing that to black girls. We have to. There's been so much conversation about how we treat black girls, how we call them fast, just for developing. Oh, y'all, you fast, you fast, you fast. What is that? What does that mean? Or you look too grown for your age. No, they look like a child. And we have to be careful of how we talk about black girls when we're seeing and have been for the longest seeing all of the violence that black girls experience, the things that do not get reported. I mean, we're in the middle of the Diddy and Cassie whole case, and we're repeatedly seeing all of the abuse that Cassie has experienced. And she's not the only girl, the only black girl to experience this. It's been a long thing that has been happening for forever. I mean, Tina Turner has talked about it. Michelle A has talked about it. Like, this is something that is always been going on for the longest. And these girls, these women have been taken advantage of in the process. So I understand some folks' reason for, hey, I'm not sure how to feel about this, what is going on, because we have adults consuming this content. Miss Shirley's audience are adults, a lot of adults. And for some folks, it's giving, hey, the uncle is in the room, you might need to cover up. And people don't think that's what it's giving, but that's what it's giving sometimes. Hey, you don't need to be doing that because these folks online might see that and do something. They're going to do that regardless. They're going to do that regardless. That's something we're going to have to really talk about too, is that it doesn't matter if they're covering up and they're not doing these things. They're going to find a way to perceive them in that type of way anyway. But the biggest thing for me in this conversation with Miss Shirley is consent. This is a child, and she is being, to me, exploited in a way that we've seen with the other girl who was doing the raps with her father. The same way I felt uncomfortable about Bree and the rest of those kids having that show with that man or teenager, whoever, who was interviewing them and asking them questions, because these children are being used to build social capital. This is the reason why I have issues with teachers who film their students and post them online or curse them out and talk about how they're not intelligent and build social capital off of it. And we can talk about social capital and how all of us in some way, shape, or form are trying to build social capital. Even me talking about this is building social capital. But we need to talk about the ethics involving it and the ethics of this child who cannot consent, who cannot tell their mother no, who doesn't understand that I'm doing this and having fun, but this is also providing money and revenue to my family. And we have seen how child actors and actresses have had a very tough childhood and how they regretted even being in the limelight so early on. We've seen that repeatedly, just as recent as Honey Boo Boo, who has talked about how her mother was kind of taking advantage of her finances and her money, all the stuff that she was making, all the money that she was making off of Honey Boo Boo, who was the star of the show, and how she was being exploited, how she didn't understand at the time, but now she's an adult and realizes like, hey, I was not done right. And even going to Keke Palmer, who said that she was excited to make money to provide for her family, which is something that's kind of particular with Black families, because let's be honest, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. A lot of Black folks are struggling worse than their white counterparts. There's been statistics and studies have shown what the Black medium household is bringing in compared to white households. It's a real thing. So you have a lot of Black folks, unfortunately, living in poverty. And we see this with the Black athletes who are sitting on the couch and waiting to be picked up by a team or a college and being able to make some money to provide for themselves and bring themselves out the hood and also provide for their families. Like you hear over and over again about the athletes wanting to buy their mothers a house and provide for them because they realize that this is the only way out for them and their family. And that pressure being put on a child without them even realizing what this is, her being used in this type of way, even if it's selling cameos and doing tours and things, this is a child. And before folks start talking about, oh, what about the women who be having their daughters, the white women who be having their daughters do the collars and tiaras and stuff, that's exploitation too. That is, most definitely. I'm talking about Black folks right now, though. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm concerned about, Black folks being harmed. Black children being harmed in the process. And Miss Shirley being dolled up with not just the name, because that's not this child's name, even calling her Miss Shirley. We're not calling her Tatiana or Raven or something that is her name. I'm not sure of the child's name. We are aging her up. We're making her seem as though she's an adult. The illusion of that, oh, this is Miss Shirley. This is a child. This is a child. And yes, this is fun for backyard activities at the function at the family house. And yeah, that's my baby. She gets down. That's it. And maybe a camcorder that we'll see later on at the family function. But being put out to hundreds and thousands of folks to the point that she's going and doing trail rides with other adults. She's not in kid environments. She is in adult environments. And that's when the ethics start to become questionable. Because does Miss Shirley know what she's doing? That baby needs to be dancing around other kids. She needs to be in a bouncing tent. She needs to be in a bouncing tent. She needs to be doing other kid things. She needs to be dancing with Chuck E. Cheese, looking for another cheese pizza. She needs to be doing kid things. She don't need to be around grown folks drinking liquor and moonshine, doing trail rides. What is going on? And for the folks who say, well, we have child actors and actresses and they've been doing it for the longest. Yes. And before folks start referencing and talking about Hollywood and how child actors and actresses have been playing in Hollywood and there's not been any issue. Yes, there has been. And there has been laws put in place to protect child stars. I mean, even looking at the documentary about the Wizard of Oz and how Judy Garland was treated by people in positions of power, like she was taken advantage of as a child. Like, this is not something new. So when it comes to Miss Shirley, this is a child who is probably no more than 3, 4, or 5 years old, dancing around adults for adults entertainment. And when you say that out loud, it becomes a little bit eerie. Like, she's doing this for the enjoyment of adults that she does not have any community with, adults that she will probably never see again, who are not in her immediate family, who are not people that she knows or her mother and father or whoever knows. So yes, this is a very delicate conversation. Even I was uncomfortable talking about it, but seeing how she was on the Jennifer Hudson show and she was speaking to Jennifer Hudson or talking or doing this stuff, she's getting more attention and more eyes on her. And this child will be growing up. And even if we pay attention to the dancing dolls, for instance, who have been doing shows after Bring It, because Bring It ended so many years ago, the shows they have on, Brandon TV, you can hear Kayla talk about her experience. You can also hear other girls talk about it in their TikToks, how that affected them. Kayla, who was on the show as one of the main cast members for years, was exploited to a certain degree. Like, Kayla is living, and there's nothing wrong with that, just a beautiful family, but all of that money that she was bringing in for these adults, can she now touch that? Was money put aside for these kids who images and stuff are still being used, because Lifetime is still posting clips on YouTube. They're still getting ad revenue from YouTube and other paid things that they're making money off of. And these kids' images are forever online, to the point that Kayla can't even be an adult with a child without people being confused. Now her new family is a part of this, and she kind of has to lean into this to make money. She's now selling herself and her life as an adult, and it's nothing wrong with it, but she has to, because that is what people have been wanting. That is what people have been wanting for a minute. So my question is all the money that Miss Shirley is bringing in, is that going to a pot and being put away? Because even YouTube asked me before I upload this video, they're going to ask me, hey, are children in this video? Because there's a whole thing like, hey, if children are in this video more than 30%, they need to be compensated. It needs to be some other things involved, because there have been a lot of families doing vlogs and things, and even toy reviews and stuff, where they've been doing it for so long that these families have been making so much money. Because now, if the family is getting a bigger house and more fancy cars and all these things, will this child be able to touch this money later on? Like, is some money being put aside for this child when they turn into an adult? Are they able to live the lifestyle that their parents are now living because of that? Like, we have to consider these things. Like, this child is doing this at 2. This child is doing this at a very young age. Can Miss Shirley say she does not want to do this? Can Miss Shirley tell her mother no? Can a child her age tell her mother, I'm not interested in doing this, because she thinks it's fun? That's it. I'll give you an example. One of my first real jobs was at Marshall's on Covington Pike in Memphis, Tennessee. And I remember working there at 15 years old, and I was failing my English class. Like, I think I was in Miss Beadle's class. I think that was her name, Miss Beadle. I can't remember her name. At Tresman. If you watching this, hey sister, but I was failing her class. And I had homework and stuff to do. I had papers and stuff to write. And y'all know Marshall's. Marshall's is junky. It's closed everywhere. Y'all be leaving stuff in the fitting room. I had to go hang all this stuff up. And I will be kept past the time that I was supposed to be there. Like, I'm supposed to leave at 9 o'clock. Or whatever the law was, I should not be here past 11, 12 o'clock. This long as a minor. My manager was aware of that, but he still took advantage of that, because he's an adult, and I'm thinking he's doing the best thing in my favor, and I'm not able to tell him no. Like, I'm 15 years old. I'm not able to tell this grown man, this grown adult, no, I'm finna go home. And the moment I did, I was reprimanded for that. Like, my hours and stuff was cut. But that is the reason why we have to make sure that we're doing the ethical shit here. Because when there's a power imbalance like that, like this adult talking to a 15-year-old, yeah, the laws are here, but I'm not able to talk about the laws because I'm 15 years old and I'm being taken advantage of for $5.75 an hour. Like, even with the minimal child labor laws, like, they're not even paying attention to them. And ain't nobody coming to do anything and out of it. They ain't doing none of that. They was not doing any of that. Yeah, if there were no laws, they would definitely have children. In some places, they do have children working at factories. Like, I don't need to wait for the laws to exist. I can talk about the ethics now. And we need to talk about the ethics when it comes to Miss Shirley and what is going on. She's having bookings to dance in front of adults. Hello? The only adults that should be seeing Miss Shirley do these things are adults in her family while she's around other children. And I need folks to understand that. So yes, it does look weird. And just because it's happening now doesn't mean it won't be wrong 10, 15, 20 years from now. I'm not waiting 20 years from now to recognize that this was an issue. It's an issue now. People might not agree with it, but it's an issue now that we won't be exploring probably in full high definition until later on. Like, oh, was not sure about that. And maybe 10, 15, 20 years from now, Miss Shirley loves that she did this and is able to build something off of it and to do even more. Maybe this is something she's doing full time. Maybe she's built a brand off of something like this. It's possible, but look at how many times we've seen this go in the complete other direction where this was the cause of so much trauma later on and they have to deal with as adults. How many times have we talked about the Disney stars who have been through so much, all of the things that they have experienced? We saw the documentary about what Nickelodeon was doing. We saw how these girls were taken advantage of, how Ariana Grande was taken advantage of and doing things. So yes, it is important for us to talk about the ethics of these things so we can make sure that no one who is a minor is being taken advantage of by adults in this type of way. That's my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.